Hi everyone, this is Heba from my little journal, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I created this traveler's notebook. I had a lot of people ask me how I came up with this or how I made this. And it's really simple. It's just a traveler's notebook insert. It's the opposite way. And all I did was used some cardstock in between, or my pattern paper in between my white plain paper. Now, today I thought I would share with you a different way, and this is upside down. I have this paper pad that I have not used, and it's been sitting in my craft room for a while. And the great thing about this paper pad is usually paper pads are thinner than regular cardstock pattern paper, and it already has the white background. So I probably won't have to use white cardstock in this one. And the difference will obviously be that this one has two different patterns on each side. But you can do it either way if you use a paper pad that has white on the backing and no pattern, or you use cardstock. It's the same exact way. But today I thought I really want to use this paper pad, and that's what I'm going to do. I grabbed a sheet from one of my traveler's notebook because I want this size. I'm horrible at measuring, and I thought this is an easy way to kind of measure out my paper and get it right, because last time it was devastating. I'm using one of these so I can cut down my paper. I will be using this long stapler, but if you don't even have one, it's not a big deal. I've seen a lot of people open their staplers and lay it flat and have something under so it doesn't go through their surface or their desk, but like an eraser or something like that. But I have one, so I'm going to use mine. I'm also going to be using my little measuring tool and cutting or trimmer because I have one and I'm going to use it. And this is going to help me also measure without a ruler. So now going through my pattern paper, I don't know what I want to use, but I'm just going to go through it real quick and choose the ones I want. So let's do that. Now when you're choosing your paper, you should always keep in mind that you want to choose something that you would actually want in your traveler's notebook. Paper that you love. And going through this paper pad, I just went with like really pretty colors, floral, subtle patterns, because that's what I usually like to use in my layouts, and that's what I want in my traveler's notebook. Now I end up choosing about 6 pattern papers, 7 that's with my cover, and I like that number because usually in my traveler's notebook, my layouts, I have about like 10 to 11 layouts per traveler's notebook, so that's a good amount. Now all I want to do now is just look through my papers and make sure they're all facing the right way, because you don't want your pattern paper to be facing the wrong way when you want to come to create your layouts. I'm going to grab my binding clips so they can hold my papers together while I trim. I will also be using that piece of paper that I pulled out from one of my traveler's notebooks to help me measure properly, because as I've said before, I'm horrible at measuring. And I'm gonna start trimming. Now the measurements that I'm using is 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. Those are the sizes I like my traveler's notebook to be, but there's so many different sizes for traveler's notebooks, but I like the size for my traveler's notebook, so I'm going with that. Once I'm done trimming, I will trim the bottom half of my notebook, and I'll also speed this up a little bit so I don't bore you to death. Now I want to measure where my crease for my fold is going to be at. I will grab that piece of paper that I got out of one of my traveler's notebooks, and that's just going to help me measure to the right spot, and then I will be using my bone folder to help me create that crease for my fold. And I will do that with all the pattern papers so they can all fit into each other. But I did want to mention that the traveler's notebook that I showed you in my flip through video, it had pattern paper and then white plain paper. This is exactly the same concept, but if you still want to stick to the double-sided pattern paper, all you have to do is remove 3 of these sheets and just add plain white paper. So that way you'll have the same style. That's if you're just using double-sided pattern paper. But I like the white in between because I just don't like to have 2 different patterns, 2 different colors and all that stuff in my traveler's notebook. I like my layout to match. So anyways, now that I'm done with that, I added my clips again to hold my papers together while I staple them together. And as I said, if you don't have the long arm stapler, you can still use a regular stapler, and all you do is just add something under it like an eraser to keep it from going through the surface of your table. Now my traveler's notebook is all done. I'm just going to use my bone folder to press down on my papers so I can have a nice neat fold. And I'm going to do a really quick flip through for you guys. You can see it's papers I love, and you have a white sheet, you have a patterned sheet. Just your middle sheets are going to be white, and that's fine. You can always add to that. But I love this so much, I'm going to be working in it right now. So if you want to keep watching, I will start my first layout in my new traveler's notebook. So for today's layout, I will be using this picture of my daughter and niece. Now, it worked really nicely with my layout because my niece's dress matched the flowers in my pattern paper. So all I had to do was just go through my scraps and find paper that would match the pattern paper that I already have in my traveler's notebook. And this is why I love doing these traveler's notebooks, because it makes it so easy for you. This layout really took me 10 minutes, you guys, 10 minutes to create. And that's because I already had the pattern paper chosen for me and in my notebook. So all I had to do was layer my picture. I stamped out Better Together with my Feed Your Craft stamps, and I'm just tearing off my vellum piece. I love to use vellum on my layouts because it really gives a nice texture, and I actually use it a lot in my project life also. But anyways, I added a doily to soften it up a little bit. I like adding doilies with floral. I just love that look. So I'm just going to start sticking things down. I'm not going to think too hard about my layers. Oh, and here's a tip for you. Never use your tape runner on the doily itself. It tore my doily, but that's not going to show because my picture is going to go there. But stick your tape on the paper and then just stick your doily down. Anyways, I do want to add some of those flowers from the pattern paper on the left side of my page. I just thought it would bring it in nicely or kind of make it cohesive, I guess. So what I'm doing is fussy cutting one of those flowers and adding it to the left side of my page. Now the fun part begins. I will be going through my embellishments and adding some stickers here and there, some phrases to my layers. Now I will be adding my crystal drops. I chose to use black and gray. It worked nicely with my layout. And then I thought I just want to add something small to the right side of my page. I don't want to keep it just the pattern paper, so I go through my chipboard and I found one that I really liked and worked really nicely with my layout. and it had love this, I believe, and I just stick it down and call my layout done. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and learned from my tutorial. I'm not great at it, but I thought because I was asked a lot to share that I would share it with you guys. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye! Click on the screen if you want to watch some more of my Traveler's Notebook videos.